Good afternoon from the UK, where it is currently just gone 2:30. In fact, it's 2:35. I really do think this camera's got some like built-in filter, because yeah, I don't think I actually look like this in real life. It does make me look very. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm just turning handsome, and I'm in denial. So here we are again, reflecting on my keto life. I don't know, this must be like the 9th or 10th video I've made. How many people have watched? Maybe I'll bring it out in like a box series on Netflix so you can watch it all in one foul swoop. Chill and Netflix, Keto Life style. Sorry, just seeing a little spot on the screen, and it turns out it's not even a spot. Okay, so this week's video, firstly, warning, I think it will be quite, I'm just going to move the camera slightly. I think it will be quite a long video, but then most of them normally are. I've got a nice big mug. I think this is an 11-ounce cup. I know you can get bigger ones, and I am actually sorely tempted to get a bigger one, with some very strong, just black coffee, with a little bit of sweetener. We're going to come to the sweetener in a minute. That's one of the things we're going to be talking about today. Oh, still a bit hot. Right. So yeah, there's a few things I want to go through, and I'll be honest, today we're going to be getting quite nerdy, quite sciencey, with some things this week that I've sort of found out, heard little sort of whispers about, did a little bit of research myself, and I think it's quite relevant for anyone who watches these videos that are type 2 diabetic and are doing a low carb / keto diet to help manage their blood sugar levels. I think this is quite relevant, what I've found out this week. So to recap, I've been on a low carb ketogenic diet for 12 weeks. This is currently week 13. I will quickly mention a couple of things. One, I did weigh in on Monday, yesterday at the gym. Those that will remember last week, I did lose 4 pounds, which I was amazed by, because I hadn't lost anything the week before. Yeah, I thought the week before was a much more disciplined, almost perfect on diet and exercise, yet lost 0 pounds. So I was a little bit deflated. Yeah, the week after, where if anything I had a little wobble, only a very slight wobble, I like that word. It could be my new word. I might use it a lot. Everyone's turning the video off at this stage. I lost 4 pounds, which was unexplainable. Now, saying that, last week I would say was a worse week than the week when I lost 4 pounds. And let me explain what I mean by that quickly. The week before, when I lost 4 pounds, I'd had a mini treat. I had some Indian food, and I allowed myself the luxury of a tandoori roti. The first day, because I split the Indian meal over 2 days, the first day, weirdly, after the meal, including half of the tandoori roti, my blood sugars were very low. They didn't spike, which was weird, considering obviously there's a lot of carbohydrate even in something as basic as a tandoori roti. And so much so that I ended up having a hypo that night. A very horrible hypo. My BS went down to 3.5. I was shaking, I had a cold sweat, and I had to do like a little emergency just eating chocolate, basically, just to bump. No, again, don't get me wrong, 85% chocolate, so you know, the best I can certainly get away with eating, and it bumped my blood sugars up. Ironically, the next day when I had exactly the same meal, basically, with the other half of the tandoori roti. Portion size and everything was pretty much the same, like both nights. My blood sugars did spike, and they went up to, I'm trying to remember, like 11 maybe, the highest they've been. I'd not seen double figures since I started my low carb diet. So yeah, there was a little bit of a contrast over the 2 nights. Now, the only thing I could think, and I still don't really know, is if I double took my medication, not the tablets, but the insulin. I can't still imagine that it would have took me down that low, because it wasn't that long ago I was having over double my medication. So I don't know. Anyway, long story short, this week just gone, slightly worse. Reason one was, again, I had some Indian food. I was going to split it over 2 days, exactly the same story. I allowed myself the luxury of a tandoori roti. The only difference this time is the very first day that I had it, including half of a tandoori roti, sounds very deja vu, this time again it did spike my blood sugar. So I think that first day the week before, there was definitely something different. Something happened. I did something that obviously meant my blood sugars went super low. But this time it spiked it to 12.5, so even higher. So consequently, the second day I took a decision not to have the other half of the tandoori roti and threw it away, which was very painful, throwing it into the bin. But I didn't want a second day of spiking my blood sugars. I had the rest of the Indian food, and my blood sugars were very normal, around 6.5, I think. But on the Saturday, I had a bit of a nightmare. And I think we can say that this definitely was the first proper cheat. I was supposed to be cooking cod loin, not only for me this time, but for a couple of members of the family. And we went to get some nice fresh cod loin Saturday afternoon. And long story short, drove around Milton Keynes, couldn't find any. So as a plan B, I did steak, which sounds perfectly fine, and definitely was perfectly fine, but I didn't actually have steak. I decided that as my mum didn't want steak, I would treat her to fish and chips. And as I'd been craving fish and chips for quite some time, I had a little bit of fish and chips, and I had a large haddock, so hardly little. And then I shared a portion of chips with my mum, and we didn't even eat all of them between us. I had a gherkin, and I had a couple of pickled shallots, not pickled onions, very similar, taste the same pretty much, but they're slightly different. 2 hours later, I took my blood sugars, expecting them to be double figures, and it was 6.5. Again, 6.5 seems quite common. Don't know why. So I'm not doom and gloom, but with the Indian treat, which did spike my blood sugars, and then having fish and chips on Saturday, as I say, looking back on last week, probably an 8 out of 10 on training, which is good. I'm happy with that. And probably a 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10. I'm probably being harsh on myself, because apart from that, I was pretty spot on. So I didn't want to weigh in this week, but I do want to know if I've lost weight. So I've weighed in. The results are actually hidden away in the bear. Yes, that really is my phone cover. And they're hidden away, and they will stay hidden away. When I weigh in next Monday, I will also hide them away. And then we'll do a reveal. It'll probably be Wednesday next week, so not Tuesday like today, but it'll probably be Wednesday. And we'll do a reveal, and we'll reveal the week one, as in what yesterday's results was, and we'll see if there was any ups or downs, and then we'll reveal what we are next week. Next week's results will be poignant for another reason. And the main part of this video is I'm kind of doing, I've not come up with a neat gimmicky name for it, but I'm doing a challenge in October, and that is what most of the rest of this video is going to talk about. But one of the parts of the challenge, again, will mean that I don't weigh in weekly, or I do weigh in weekly, but I don't look at the results. And we'll do that, in fact, for the entire month of October. And we'll then look at the results at the end and go through each week in turn. I think realistically, I would like to lose a minimum of 9 pounds. Again, a bit of a weird amount, I know. I'm basing it on £2 a week and £1 for the odd few days. So yeah, I'm looking at about £9, £2 a week. There's a bunch of new stuff I'm going to be bringing in that will hopefully help me achieve that. But as we know, my losing weight bit, A, isn't a major priority, and B, has been a bit up and down. Weeks when I thought I was going to have lost 3, 4, 5 pounds, I've in fact lost nothing, or £1. And then weeks when I thought I'd had a bad week and was dreading the worst, I've lost weight. So we'll see. But anyway, so that was that bit, getting the weight side out. So there's no reveal today for the weight. Second thing is I had, and I think I'm always saying this wrong. Oh, hello, scary sound. I have got a weird sound thing on my computer, so I apologize if it keeps going off. Like when I get messages and when I get emails. I had my, and as I say, I'm sure I'm missing a letter off here, but I'm going to call it my HbC1. Is it HbCA1? I don't know. But yeah, I had my blood test today. And in a week's time, exactly a week, I've got to meet with my new, who I've never met before, diabetic nurse, and discuss those results. I think I've mentioned before, I will say in the past my results have been up well in double figures, 12, 13, 14, 15, which obviously is horrendous. I'm definitely open for single figures. And I would love to see something around 7. Maybe I'm being overly optimistic, but judging by my blood sugar results when I take them, I think, you know, it's going to be a good result. So fingers crossed for a week's time when the results come in and I meet with my diabetic nurse. So that's the weight out the way. That's the HbCA1, whatever it's called, out the way. Quick sip on the coffee. Show off the t-shirt, pause, wait for the applause. That rhymes, see a little bit of rap there. Okay, so October. We started the ketogenic diet on the 1st of July. So as I say, we're in week 13 now. We do feel a lot better. There are still some downsides. You know, it could be something far worse in the background for all I know. Maybe health-wise, I've got something going on that hasn't been diagnosed. Who knows? There are times when I feel like my brain is more focused, but then there's some things I'm supposed to be doing that's not happening. So, you know, I'm not saying I'm the finished product yet. I still think I sleep too much, but again, as I keep saying every time I mention that, maybe that's a combination of being lazy and having a really fucking amazing bed. Thank you, Barry Garner, for the bed. That's going to be weird. Everyone's going to think, who's this Barry Garner? Why is he thanking him for his bed? Basically, Barry is this gazillionaire that I know. Funny enough, he used to work for me. He's going to hate me saying that because he still denies it to this day. But he used to work in an office that I used to run. He was one of my best salespeople when we all got made redundant. Well, actually, he'd left already, but he went off to do his own thing and has been Hoover successful. No, he doesn't run Hoover, but as successful as Hoover. And yeah, basically, he had a 4 grand bed. He'd had it about a year and then asked me if I wanted to buy it. I did point out that I couldn't afford a 4 grand bed, even second hand. And he basically sold me it for £200. And then even delivered it. How fucking good a service is that? A 4 grand bed for £200 delivered. So it's kind of in the background. I'm not going to show you my bed because it's not even made yet. But yeah, maybe that's why I sleep too much. Anyway, science bit. So, whilst I've been on this keto journey, living the keto life, hashtag keto life, I've never been wholly happy with the consistency of how far into ketosis I've gone and what my ketone level results have been. And it's kind of bugged me. I've gone on and I've Googled and I've watched Thomas DeLura videos and Dr. Berg and other people as well. And whilst I've done that, I've looked at, you know, how to get into ketosis faster, how to, you know, improve the level of ketosis, all of them videos where it tells you to do this, 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 this. And I think I've nailed it. Not boasting, but I think I've nailed it. But yet, 0.5, 0.6, even lower, where supposedly you're not even in ketosis, 0.3. Then I learned about GKI, the glucose ketone index. And that was a little bit more encouraging because my blood sugar levels were so low. If you look at GKI, that kind of encouraged me to think that even though I was getting quite low ketone readings, because my blood sugars were quite low, it meant my GKI was low, which meant I was in effect in ketosis. But I'm still not convinced, and certainly not to the level that I see some people when they post their ketone readings and they post their urine strips, which is always makes me go, because you know they're basically just weed on that. But they get them super dark ketone colors, which, you know, even some of them up to like 16. And I know I have to be careful because I'm diabetic, and they do say that diabetics are more susceptible. You know, if you go deep into ketosis, it can then turn into another condition that is life-threatening. So we don't want to do that. Don't want to die, even though that would help lose weight. Can I just say that? Best way to lose weight is to die. I hope nobody takes that seriously. That was a joke. I don't want no one taking that seriously. Look, I've got a mark. I've got a mark. It's moving. I've got a mark on my t-shirt. That was brunch, by the way. That was kippers with butter. Kerrygold. Name placement, Kerrygold. I'm going to say it again, Kerrygold. So if Kerrygold want to sponsor me, want to send me some free Kerrygold butter, grass-fed, then please do. Anyway, so moving on. So anyway, I found out that being a diabetic, I might get this, I'm going to put a disclaimer before I finish the sentence, that this is just what I think, but by what I found out this week, that it seems that being a diabetic can hinder going into ketosis. And I would love to hear anyone who's got any opinions on that. But this is the science bit. So from what I understand, the liver, as in your liver, not just some liver that you might have, your liver creates, and I'm going to look at a note here, and I'm probably going to say it slightly wrong because I've been trying to say it right all day and I still can't. They create, in your liver creates something called acetyl-CoA. It creates this mainly from, apparently, lipids, which I haven't got the faintest idea what they are, but lipids that's in your body, floating around, I guess, or glucose. Now, as we know, glucose is sugar, basically. So your liver then converts, I'm probably going to get this bit wrong, I really should have reviewed the video again. It basically, depending, if your insulin is high in your body, it converts them, that's the bit I can't remember, how embarrassing. But if your insulin is low, it turns them into ketones, which obviously is then how you go into ketosis and that. So if you've got a very high level of insulin, then it won't convert them into ketones. basically. I can't, you know, it basically turns them into sugar, I think, or keeps them as fat, whatever. But not good, anyway, let's put it that way. I will probably mention this again in the next video and just correct the fact that I've gone brain dead on what it converts into. So basically, liver creates acetyl-CoA, and then dependent on whether your insulin is high or low will determine what they convert the acetyl-CoA into. And what you want is low insulin, so that they're converted into ketones, and that then puts you into a good state of ketosis. So when I started this, I was on 2 different insulins that I would have to inject. So whatever my body was creating naturally, because remember, I'm a type 2 diabetic, so I'm resistant to insulin. So my body's still creating it, it's just not working. So I have to dose it up with these 2 external insulins, which was what they call a quick release insulin called Humulin, and a slow release insulin called Lantus. Now I would take 24 units of Humulin in the day, like sort of morning, and 24 units at night. And at night, when I took the second lot of 24, I would also be taking 14 units of Lantus. So that's a lot of insulin. Now my understanding is, in the great scheme of things, there are diabetics out there that take up to 100 units a day. So I was sort of half, just over half of that. But there are people on a far lot more. Now, because of my low carb and keto, low carb / ketogenic diet, I've basically eradicated the need for me to take the Lantus, the slow release insulin. I don't take that at all. So that was 14 units, now down to 0. And with my Humulin, I was taking 24 in the day and 24 at night. I am now down to, or was down to, 10 units in the morning and 10 at night. Because of this new information that I've found, I've decided that I want to try and take it even lower. I mean, I'd love to get rid of it completely, but if that's realistic, I don't know. So this week I've knocked another unit off in the morning, so down to 9, and another unit off in the evening, down to 9. So we're now taking 18 units over the day. My plan is next week, when we start the October challenge, to be down another unit on both doses. So we're down to 8 units. Now, of course, one of the things that I do need to monitor closely, as I do anyway, but you know, when you make a change like that, you have to be very aware of your blood sugars in particular, to make sure that in taking the dose down, your blood sugars are not going to spike, not going to suddenly have a lot higher, regular readings. I want my readings to be consistent. First thing in the morning, after my fasting period, I want it to be sort of 5 or 6. After I've eaten, maybe 7. Top end, absolute top end, 8 or 9. So I'm making some adjustment to lower my insulin because I think that will help to boost the ketones. Where I've been getting these very low ketone readings, I think if I can take my insulin down gradually, I don't know, as I say, if I do it this week and I notice a big sudden spike in my thing because I've lowered it by 2 units, I'm obviously going to have to go back up to 10 units. But I don't think that's going to happen. And I do think it's important that you do it over a period of time. I don't think you should just suddenly go, okay, now I'm going to stop. So another thing that is important in the conversion of acetyl-CoA, apparently, which I didn't know, is carnitine. It's an amino acid, and spookily, I take a L-Carnitine, as it's called, supplement. I take 500 milligrams a day, pretty much every day. There are a few days when I don't take them. No particular reason, just schedule. I haven't taken mine today, for example, but I am actually having them after this video. I have a special morning juice. I know I've mentioned it in the past. and I have all my supplements with that, and I hadn't made it overnight, so I've had to make it this morning, and then it takes a few hours to chill. So that's going to happen something. But anyway, it turns out that I take carnitine. However, I only take 500 milligrams. It does say on the jar, do not exceed the stated dose. However, when you go online and you Google search carnitine and dosage and stuff like that, I mean, they're sort of saying you can have up to, like, I think the real recommendation is 2 to 2,500 milligrams. Obviously, you can take it in anyway. A lot of red meat has carnitine in it. So if you're eating a lot of steak, obviously you're probably getting quite a decent amount from your diet. Some go up as high as 4,000. It does really, if you read around it, they say 3,000 onwards, there are a lot of digestive issues that you might encounter. So I think what I found through Holland and Barrett, which is where I get my current tablet form carnitine, they do a liquid, a lemon flavored liquid, and for every 15 milliliters, maybe, I don't know, but every tablespoon basically of this carnitine supplement, you're in effect getting 1,500 milligrams. So I'm thinking with that, with the tablet that I take, that takes me to the 2,000, and probably with a little bit in my dietary, that's going to get me at the top end. But the carnitine, just two things on the carnitine, it's responsible for the transfer of the lipids or glucose, I guess, or maybe even the acetyl-CoA. I need to watch that video again to make notes. But it's responsible for transferring it into the liver. That's what actually delivers it into the liver. It's the actual carnitine, if you like, is the vehicle. It's the DHL of the body for delivering that into the liver. So that was the one thing about carnitine. And the other thing about carnitine is, again, I've read for all of this research, and there's a particular doctor who I want to quickly mention. Let me just get his, getting all sorts of notifications come up. Have I still got it open? Yeah, so Dr. Benjamin Bickman. Trust me, watch some of his videos. It's going to be, for anyone who's, getting into this keto life, it's definitely worth watching. So Benjamin Bickman, I'm sure it was in one of his videos, he mentions that diabetics can be, or can suffer from, a deficiency of, what did I call it? Oh, how bad am I? Creatine? Oh, no, I'm sure that's not it. Sorry, everyone. I'm having one of them days. Carnitine. There we go. We got there in the end. So, yeah, L-Carnitine. And diabetics apparently can be deficient in it. So, not only maybe one of the problems is too much insulin, making it hard to convert into ketones, but maybe having a deficiency in carnitine and not being able to deliver it in the liver for it to be turned into ketones could also be. So I think if I can lower my insulin, up my carnitine, that should be positive. Finally, this is probably going to be the longest video yet, because I think this bit might be another 10 minutes and we're nearly at 30. Another time for another sip on the coffee. The final part of me trying to get deeper into ketosis and getting some better readings. I've invested, and I'm not going to beat around the bush, it wasn't cheap. This is what we call in the UK, and I'm sure you've got this expression elsewhere, a punt. This is a gamble of gambles. Depending on how successful it is, will determine whether I do it moving forward after October. So it could either be a very expensive flop or the greatest investment ever. So let me turn around. Firstly, I've changed my MTC oil. I'm not going to mention the previous one, But the previous one was a flavoured one, which was nice in some ways. But it was also C8 and C10 MTC oil. Now I'm going to bring this up again. So this is keto sauce. I bought it off of Amazon. It's delivered the next day, and with my free delivery, it cost me £18. Now, it's 500 millilitres. So I'm going to be taking not a full 15 milliliter portion every day, and you'll see why in a minute. I'm going to be taking 10 milliliters, so 2 teaspoons, not tablespoons. A tablespoon would be a full 15 milliliter portion, but a teaspoon is 5 milliliters each one, so 2 is 10 milliliters. I will be taking this first thing in the morning in a ketogenic coffee that I'm going to make myself, that will include 2 blends of coffee, some stevia, some ghee butter, some MTC oil. I think that's it. Apart from, I might throw in some Himalayan salt as well. I'm not going to go through each ingredient and tell you the pros and cons, because to be frank, again, I've learnt them off of videos like Thomas DeLore, and I'm not as handsome as him. I haven't got as big muscles as him, and you probably wouldn't want to hear me waffle. And again, I'd probably go brain dead and forget certain bits. But anyway, this is the new MTC oil that as of next week, well, I'm actually starting taking it already, just in a plain coffee. Again, 10 milliliters, just to get my stomach used to it, to make sure there's no reaction from it. But as of next week, this will go into a keto coffee first thing in the morning with those other ingredients. Okay, so the reason why I've gone for one just with C8 is my understanding, and again, please science people, if I'm getting this wrong, do put me straight, is that C8 is the one we really want. It's the one that's quickest absorbed, you know, the body finds it easiest, whereas the C10, C12s start to get a little bit more complex. Could be wrong, but my basic understanding is that's the one we want. So moving on. And this is the expensive bit. And if I don't get some product placement in, I have purchased, I'm just trying to find the right one to start with, sorry, apologies. So this is a company called Perfect Keto. Okay, again, my camera's not brilliant. Well, it is brilliant, but it's not going. It wants to zoom on my face and not on the product. Okay, so this is their Perfect Keto base chocolate. So it's chocolate flavored, and again, I'm going to have to leave my glasses up because I can't read the different size print. This is I can't even say it. This video might be even longer now. Exogenous. Oh no, I'm saying that wrong. I apologise. I hope I don't get sued. Exogenous ketones. So basically, external ketones. Now, there's a little bit of the jury's out. I think everyone agrees that it is better to create your own ketones in your body naturally. But I've also read a lot of positivity about this, and especially this brand. Okay, this is where I now go into, please give me some free products. So yeah, this is the baddest bad boy on the scene when it comes to product. Perfect Keto, they're exogenous ketones. And basically this will be making, so I've just talked about my keto coffee first thing in the morning and the bits that will go into that. Then, before I go on with the Perfect coffee, we've had this delivered today. Let's again get some product placement in there. Oh, okay, I thought there was a bit that actually said Amazon, but there isn't. So today we had yet another delivery because of my Amazon Prime. And that product, hopefully, be gutted if it was something completely different, like a sex toy. is this bad boy. Okay, now we're cooking. This is a shake blender, I believe is the precise terminology. Blender bottle, shake blender. But this is a bad boy one, okay? This is 45 ounces. I believe that's 1.6 litres. It's pretty big. Now, I've never used one of these before, so, you know, I'm going to be doing some experimenting. Apparently, this is called the blender ball that goes in when you're shaking. Oops, maybe it is a sex toy. When you're shaking the shake up, the drink, in there, that helps to blend it. I've got some experimenting to do, obviously. But yeah, so blender bottle, 1.6 litres. So keto coffee first thing in the morning. Morning juice first thing in the morning with all my supplements. And then this. Almond milk. Imagine we've got almond milk. That's the sound. Almond milk in there. And then we go exogenous ketones. I'm starting to say it easily now. It's got a little scoop in there. We start, now again, just a little thing. They recommend you start with half a scoop. And to be honest, because of the price of this, and trust me, it's frightening. Sorry, Perfect Keto, I believe in an honest, you know, review. I understand that there are some companies selling exogenous ketones far more expensive than Perfect Keto. Okay, and the funny thing is, I've found more positivity about this than I have about the more expensive ones. But this is still expensive. Do I want to really mention amounts? No. I might do a separate video just on this, just on what's going to be my new routine. I might mention it. Beyond that, you've then got, again, MTC oil powder. You'll notice this one is salted caramel. I did have the option of still getting chocolate. I was just going to have one big whole chocolate thing going on. But again, MTC powder. So remember, I'm going to have MTC oil in the keto coffee, and I'm having this. So that's why I'm not going to have a full dose of the MTC oil in the coffee, and that's why I'm not going to have a full dose of this. Again, half a scoop that's in there. I'm pretty sure that if during October I only have half a scoop of the exogenous ketones, half a scoop of the MTC oil, and the final ingredient, which is collagen. And again, I'm not going to go into the sciencey bit because I really don't wholly understand it. But yeah, again, perfect keto collagen. So half a scoop, and that's chocolate as well, sorry. Half scoop, half scoop, half scoop, almond milk, lid on, shake, shake, shake. Like I'm a barman in a cocktail bar. Shake, 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 shake. And then I can just, as and when I please, basically. I'm sure it will last, you know, a couple of hours. I'm not going to, you know, be down in it immediately. So hopefully, with all of those things, lowering my insulin, upping the carnitine intake, having the new MTC oil, and I'll in effect be doubling the dose. When I was taking the other MTC oil, which had the C8 and C10 in it, I was pretty much only having 1 teaspoon in a coffee. It is a progressional thing. Your body has to get used to MTC oil, so it's very important you don't go and you start straight away whooping down 15 milliliters or whatever that measurement. Yeah, it is milliliters. Yeah. You know, you don't start whacking it down straight away. Another thing I'll be adding as well, and I can't think of the name, but one of them, like, you know, you get them little milk drinks, little bio for the stomachy thing. It does recommend adding one of those to your diet, again, just to help with things, bacteria and sciencey things in your body. So that's another thing. I'll be taking like a no sugar Actimel, I think, is the make, but there are other brands available, just to help and manage the stomach. So it's kind of like a massive experiment. Let's be honest about it. What will October deliver? Will it deliver us a big weight loss? Will it deliver us a massive body fat percentage drop? Will it make us feel leaner? Will it make us feel more energetic? Will it make us feel more focused, like our brain is so huge? Who knows? Yeah, well, you'll know in like 5 weeks time, 6 weeks, whatever it works out, at the end of October, start of November. Hopefully, fingers crossed, I'll still be on the planet and I wouldn't have killed myself with an excess amount of ketones. So yeah, loads of products, big investment, big experiment. Oh, and just one other product that I've bought but not tried yet. I use a artificial sugar, whatever you want to call it, stevia, and the one I use is the brand is Truvia, Truvia, I think it is, and it's like a granulated Now I've recently again done some research, and Truvia, even though it says it's a stevia sweetener, has another ingredient, and again I can't remember the name, but apparently it's not great. It's okay. It's kind of frowned on a little bit. So when I've been watching the Thomas DeLure videos, he always mentions like a liquid stevia, and I'm trying this one out from NKD Living. I haven't tried it yet, so what it's going to taste like compared to Truvia, I don't know. But if I can have this more than the Truvia, I'm not going to throw the Truvia out. It's £5 a bloody jar, so I'm not going to do that. But if I can more times than not be on this, the natural sort of like real stevia sweetener, I believe it helps with things like fasting when you're fasting. I think the other ingredient that's in Truvia arguably can take you out of fasting. So, you know, if I'm having a black coffee with some sweetener in it and I think, oh yeah, that's great, you know, I'm still on my fast, and then find out, well, actually that bit of it has taken you out of it, I'm going to be pretty good. So that's it. This is the longest video ever, 42 minutes. I think it's been worth it because I think there are some things, as I say, especially if you're diabetic, especially if you're thinking of or doing keto, the thing with the you know, insulin, the amount of insulin in your body and how that can affect ketosis, things like carnitine and how that helps with the transferal and then turning in to ketones. And then these products, as I say, I know not everyone can go out and spend, you know, a lot of money on these, but you know, I've probably saved what I was spending on food and all the wrong foods, a similar amount of money to what this has cost me this month. So, you know, there's some positivity there. It's a balancing act, and if I achieve what I want to achieve this month, if I see the results, then you know that's got to be a positive thing. Anyway, I'm not going to bore you anymore. I probably will do a little product video on the new shaker and the perfect ketos. Oh, bloody hell, I disappeared off the screen then. Yeah, I'll do a small little video so people don't have to watch the whole 44 minutes of my life. My keto life. Live long and prosper.